the massive rise in child upon child abuse. And I would say it's a crisis that's happening now.
Sky News is the first broadcaster to film inside the National Association for People Abused in Childhood, which provides the UK's only national helpline for all types of victims.
Take your time, I know it's difficult to have these conversations.
We discover disturbing new trends in offending.
Pornography is becoming more extreme, more violent. We've got a generation of boys that see that as normal behaviour.
And listen to shocking experiences endured by some young people.
They were buried to the point of death and then they were revived, and that was a ritual that they went through.
Asking what is the biggest threat to our children right now. We've been given exclusive access to NAPAC support service based in Stockport. Every year they hear from around 10,000 victims. Through here is the helpline. Now, volunteers and staff receive calls and emails from all over the country, and victims could be talking about physical, emotional or sexual abuse. And in many cases, this is the first time they've told anyone about what happened to them. The first call of the day.
Hello, you're through to someone you can talk to?
A man who was so badly beaten as a child by his father that he was left with broken bones.
Are you seeing him on a daily basis now?
The victim is now having to look after his elderly abuser.
He's caring for his father, which is triggering all those unsafe feelings that he had when he was a child, so he's really struggling with that at the minute.
And was he just looking for someone to talk to you, do you think, or was it he was wanting signposting to other services? What do you think he was sort of wanting from the call?
He just wanted that safe space because he said just thank God there's people like you out there that I can talk to.
Since NAPAC started in 1998, they've become aware of trends when it comes to offending.
Ritual abuse is quite big as well.
What exactly do you mean by ritual abuse?
They have like robes on with hoods, and there could be a child or a teenager, and they are ritually sexually abused for a purpose, and that purpose could be to raise some kind of demon. We've had multiple callers that have talked to us about being triggered by the smell of soil, and their memory has been that they were buried to the point of death and then they were revived. Yeah, it's horrible, really horrible. And, you know, the staff had to have a lot of support.
Sadie, not her real name, was sexually abused by her biological father when she was a young child. Her testimony is portrayed by an actor.
It's the feeling in my body that I remember most from my childhood. Not just of the act itself, but of the constant feeling of being dissociated from your body, always having stomach aches, just feeling unclean. That was my body trying to tell me throughout my whole childhood, like screaming its alarm at me, going, "You're not safe, you're in danger."
Sadie emailed NAPAC, fully disclosing the abuse for the first time.
You just kind of assume that people are gonna fob you off a little bit. So for them to come back and be like, "We believe you, it's okay to feel what you're feeling, it wasn't your fault." It was very centred around me and where I was at that moment. I then contacted one of the agencies that they told me about and began having direct support for the abuse.
Like Sadie, young people are at risk of being sexually abused by family members. But through our time with NAPAC, we discovered a growing threat to our children, other children. The National Police Chiefs Council collates data on sexual offences against young people for England and Wales. It shows that, where age was recorded, over half of all perpetrators were between the ages of 10 to 17. That means in 1 year, over 39,000 children sexually abused or exploited other children. And when there was more than one perpetrator, child-on-child abuse is now the second highest and more common than child sexual exploitation, which includes grooming gangs. NAPAC works with the police in responding to group-based sexual offending.
One of the most shocking findings in 2024 is the massive rise in child upon child abuse. So that means within a group-based setting, 2 or more people, 24% of those are children committing serious sexual contact offences against other children. This represents a fundamental shift in this type of group-based offending. This is happening now, and I would say it's a crisis that's happening now.
The National Police Chiefs Council supports forces in tackling abuse, including child on child.
Over 40% of those crimes are crimes that relate to indecent images of children. And amongst those, the vast majority are self-generated images that have been taken by a child, usually a teenager, who shares it with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and that is consensual. Where it changes is when a child is coerced into taking those photographs and sharing them. Children have access to pornography. That pornography is becoming more violent and it's become misogynistic. And because of that ease of access for a generation of boys in particular, then very often they see that as normal behaviour. They act it out with girls. 17% of crimes that are committed against children by other children are rape offences.
There's going to be an inquiry into grooming gangs. Given that your data shows that child-on-child abuse is more prevalent than grooming gangs, it does beg the question, will we see an inquiry in the future into child-on-child sexual abuse?
We can't criminalise a generation of children. So there needs to be that prevention, that education approach. But we've got to respond right the way across different types of offending, different methods of offending. Because if we don't do that and others get ignored, then you're absolutely right, that will be the next sort of critical thing that as a society we'll say we've failed with and we can't afford to fail.
A government spokesperson said they are taking forward a wide range of actions to help prevent child sexual abuse, bring more offenders to justice and improve the support available to victims and survivors. It's estimated there are 11 million people in the UK who suffered childhood abuse. But threats to young people are evolving, the law often too slow in adapting. Those on the front line know the repercussions when abuse isn't stopped. The defiled childhoods, the damaged futures, with the scale of the problem described as endemic. Preventing it is one of our greatest challenges. Alice Porter, Sky News.